Hi everyone. Today I'm going to teach you how to do division by using the equal groups or circle groups method. I want to divide 5,142 by 6, which means I'm going to be making 6 equal groups, and I need to figure out how much is going to go into each group to make sure they're equal. So to do that, I'm going to draw myself 6 circles or 6 groups. Next, I need to start putting a certain amount into each group and making sure I keep that equal. And I want to start with the biggest I possibly can. So the first question I ask myself, I start with thousands since that's the biggest. And I ask, how many thousands can I put into each group? Well, if I put 1,000 into each group, that would be 6,000 altogether, and that's too much because I only have 5,142. So I guess I'm going to have to start with hundreds instead of thousands. So I asked myself, how many hundreds can I put into each group? So I'm going to start with a bigger number, so I'm going to put 500 into each group. 500 plus another 500 will now be 1,000. 1,500, 2,000, 2,500, 3,000. So how much did I put into each group? 500. How much is that all together? That would be 3,000. And I need to also keep track of how much is left. So I'm going to start with 5,142. I put 500 into each group, which was 3,000 altogether. How much is left that still needs to go into groups? Well, there are 2,142 still left that needs to go into groups. Well, I think I can keep going with hundreds, so why don't I try putting 200 into each group? So if I put 200 into each group, that would be 1,200 altogether. So how much did I put into each group? Another 200. How much is that altogether? 1,200. How much is left that still needs to be sorted into groups? Well, 2,142 minus 1,200, which leaves me with 942 that still need to go into groups. Well, I think I can do another 100, so 100 into each group. How much was that altogether? 600. How much is left that still needs to be sorted into groups? 942 minus 600 is 342. I can't put 100 into each group anymore, so why don't I try 50? 50 into each group. How much was that all together? 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300 all together. How much is left that still needs to go into groups? 42. Well, with 42 left to go into groups, I think in terms of my multiplication now. How many sixes get me to 42? 5 sixes would be 30. 6 sixes would be 36. 7 sixes would be 42. So if I put 7 into each group, how much is that all together? 42. How much is left that needs to go into groups? None. And so I'm done. The last thing I need to do now is I need to look at how much went into each group, because that's the answer to my division. So if I count up everything that went into the groups, 500 plus 200 is 700, plus 100 is 800, plus 50 is 850, plus 7 is 857. So 5,142 divided by 6 equals 857. And that's how we do equal division or circle division. Make your circles first so you know how many groups, and then keep asking yourself the same 3 questions over and over. How much can I put into each group? How much is that all together that I put into the groups? and how much is left that still needs to be put into groups. How much did I put into each group? How much was that all together? And how much is left that still needs to go into groups?